and welcome back to my YouTube channel and Crystal One-on-One. We happen to be at the Patio Restaurant and Lounge, a lovely spot in Bukoto. You should try it out. And today I'm talking to one of my favorite Ugandan designers, fashion designers that is, Sham Tyra Nalwanga. Now she is the first East African to do a virtual fashion launch using 3D models. And everyone was like, and she recently also launched a ready-wear collection. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
It's nice to see you, my dear.
It's been
and just to look at your journey, going all the way back.
Rough start.
With a lot of ups and downs.
Rough start. But here we are.
Yes.
And it was amazing because you're one of the first public figures that I worked with.
Yes. I see that you have talent, and that's what I saw right from the word go. So when you say looking back, what do you mean that you're surprised you survived?
Talent is one thing.
Okay.
When you know you can do something, and then when you have to present it to the world and you have to present it to the public, everybody has an opinion.
True.
One who can do it, one who has never done it, one who will never even do it in a million years has an opinion. So I was confident in myself. Of course, when I started it, I'm like, I can do this. But then you're presenting something that you have passionately worked on, and everybody has an opinion. You don't have room for a mistake. You get like, that was the part of like, how did I survive this? I think I wanted to give up every day.
You really?
I remember every day I woke up, I'm like,
but don't you think that's also maybe because you worked with a lot of public personalities?
I think so.
So
eyes
once
were
your work was out there,
yes, like eyes on them. So who's dressing them? Anything is noticed. Anything is noticed. And to be honest, most of it was true. It helped. I could make sure I improved, but it was really harsh still. I think some of them were really too harsh.
Okay,
but it worked out.
So take me back to the little you, the little Sham. Where were you born?
So I was born in Kampala, Mulago Hospital. Yes. I grew up in a very small family.
Okay.
First there was a father, and then he thought maybe we were not really good enough to stay, so for him to stay. So it was basically my mom, my young sister, and I. So it was just literally the three of us. So that's how, just the three of us. With this amazing woman raising two girls. And I think she also didn't know what she was doing with us. She didn't know what she was doing with us.
Parenting is a learning process, it is. I tell you.
To be honest, when I was younger, I don't think I understood her style.
Why, was she very strict?
Beyond strict on me personally, because I think now she was the mother and then I was the firstborn.
Okay.
So I think she was looking at me as an adult.
Oh.
She didn't have help apart from the other adult who had to be me, but I was a child.
Okay.
So
you had a lot of responsibilities.
I had a lot of responsibilities and I didn't have room to mess. So if you get what I mean when I told you when I started this business was hard because the pressure, and it's because it's how I grew up as well.
Okay.
I think most times looking back, I think I missed out on being the real child.
You missed out on your childhood.
Yes. Because
so that means you were raising your sister?
A
lot of the time?
Yes. Raising my sister, raising myself. And because I started working younger as well. I started working when I was in primary 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did your mom do? Was she also in business?
She still clothes, so it's the only thing I know how to. So that's why every time I wanted to give up, I'm like, what else am I going to do? So when our dad left, it was we had a good home. It was my mom's. I think it was passed on by her dad, and then out of the blue one day, the house was going. Because I remember very well, it was me and my sister. We were home. She had gone to church. And then they started breaking everything down. We were actually in there.
While you were in the house?
Yeah. The thing is, I remember my mom's friend comes around when they're doing that. She's like, where's your mom's like, clearly, we do know what was going on. So I remember she got us and then took us to a restaurant, have something to eat as we wait for our mom. So I think from that time life started.
It's traumatizing though.
Because now renting started to come in, and my mom by then didn't really have a job either. It was good. We were home. We had a farm. So basically, and then we had rentals. So I don't really think she had
you were
thought.
comfortable before that happened.
I think she was. I was really young, so I don't think I was understanding what really comfort was. You just, at least you're running around, you're having a home, and then you get it was that comfortable. It was fun, but then everything was gone, so life started kicking in. I think she started to realize, like, okay, now I have 2 girls
and I have to get a job.
Yeah, I have to get a job. But she was always a fashionable woman, so I think she loved clothes, and that's the first thing she went for. She would do second-hand clothes.
Okay.
Take them to girls' hostels. And when I was in primary 4, because I used to miss out on a lot of trips, this is how I started working. I used to miss out on a lot of trips at school.
Okay.
Because you know your situation, really, when you can't
go,
really I knew exactly what was going on at home. But for some reason, there was this time I really wanted to go. Badly. And I was quite, when they're talking about, you're used to not going to these things. It's normal. But then this time I'm like, I should go. I think I should go. I go back. And she's like, she had us talk, those was sort of like leftovers. Like every time she went and worked on those pieces that she brings back, she had a pile in the corner of the house. I remember, like a whole big sack. She points at them. She's like, right there. You want to go to this trip?
You want to go?
I'm like, I got this. We were still renting around Mackay, so I knew lots of hostels, girls' hostels around, and I knew that's what she was doing. So got the clothes, and that was my first day at work.
You said P4, that's like 9-10 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could have been 8. I remember the time I was talking to my auntie, one of my aunties, and I told her, I think I started working at like 9. She was like, no, I think even younger. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you went and pulled out a few pieces? And
I took everything. I carried the whole sack on my head. I was determined to go for this trip.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't really care how much I was selling anything, as long as I got the money for the trip. I went, did my thing, and I came back with nothing. That's all I remember. But I came back with money. I didn't come back with any piece.
Oh, okay. You finished all the...
I finished everything because I was doing a giveaway price. That's what I remember. It was a giveaway price. I remember some of the clothes were 500, 600, like whatever. I just wanted. But she told me those are the clothes. Okay, when you get the money, you're good to go. I remember the trip could have been like 12,000. And I managed to get that 12,000.
So you got the 12,000? I
got the 12,000. This is how late I was. I remember when I was running back to school in the morning, the bus was leaving. I was there like, I have the money. And yes, I was allowed to hoop in. So I think she realized, we can make the money. So that's how it started. So I would work every time I come back from school.
Would you work
and
with
over
her
the weekend,
or on your own?
On my own, because I think she realized I could do it on my own.
You were happy to?
I was happy to. The only interesting part is I remember during those are the days where child labor was really...
People were highlighting it and talking about it.
Nobody talks about it lately, but I remember very well. And how I remember is because for me, I didn't really think it was child labor, but every time I took these clothes to these hostels, they were asking me, you're too young to be doing this.
Aren't you supposed to be at school?
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be at school?
Where your parents?
Where's your mom? Now, I realized that I would get my mom in trouble. Because you could hear some of them, do we need to call 3T? Like, she's too young. So I made up a lie. I don't even think she knows that I made up this lie. I made up a lie that I was staying with my stepmom.
Wow.
Every time I would say that, and then they would let it go.
Oh, they'll be like, oh,
because by then I think stepmoms were ruthless, I guess. So they would let it go.
That was a reputation.
So every time I said no, I stay with my stepmom. They were like, oh, understandable. So that was my way of protecting her, because nobody now had to be like, because I remember there was a situation they were like, you need to go to her mom. This is not good. I'm like, guys, don't do it, because you're going to make things worse for me. It's my stepmom. So it worked. I'm like, okay, this might not be the best thing
But also,
to
you were
say,
little though. Huh?
but
you were
I
smart.
had, because I knew what was home. You don't,
And
you
you knew
don't
you
go
had
back.
to help.
Yes, if you don't go, and she was also tough, really tough. That sometimes it didn't really seem like it was a lie.
Okay.
Sometimes it didn't really seem like it was a lie. I literally believed that lie. That's how hard she was on me. I believed that lie myself. So I had to find out ways to always go back with money. And now that I'm older, I think I do understand her. I think life got to her.
Was there a time where you were really like bitter about it? Because you're saying now that you're older, you understand.
Yeah.
There was a time
I
when
still
you
don't
were.
have a relationship with my mom.
You don't?
No. I take care of her. We are good, but quite, she didn't know how to be a mother to me. And right now I feel like I understand it, because I'm older, you get? So, it was tough. You're having two girls and you don't have any help. So probably it got to her. And she didn't know what to do with us. Mainly me, because I was the older.
How much
Again.
older were you?
I'm
Your sister?
4 years older than my
4
sister.
years older than your sister.
Yeah, 4 years older. So maybe she just didn't know what to do with us or how to do it. And I think sometimes the frustration came to me, because, like I said, there was no room for me to make a mistake. Like, if she wanted to do A, B, C, D, it was A, B, C, D. If not, that's a problem. And I understand I was still a stubborn child. But then I'm like, I was a child. I was very stubborn.
Okay.
I think I was so used to her coming at me in a certain way. So sometimes I didn't really care, because regardless, it was going to end up a certain way. Okay, so I'm like, even when I do it right, she's going to find something
Okay.
to scream about. You get, so I'm like, so I tried. I'm like, I would do what I have to do, but then I would also be rebellious in a way. Because what is the worst that is going to happen?
All right.
When I do it right, I'll get whooped if I don't. So, yeah, so I think it made me also rebellious in a way. Because there was no heart sitting me down and talking to me or what. It was always chop, 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 chop. So I think I got to some point, I'm like, I'll try being this today, or I'll do it. But at least one thing with making the money, that one I knew, whether she is happy with me or not, or whether she's in a good mood or not, we all needed it at home.
Okay.
I needed to go to school. My sister needed to go to school, and we needed rent. So that one was never a problem.
So how did it work? Whatever you came back with, you'd hand it over to her?
Yeah.
Were you allowed to keep anything for yourself?
I kept some without her knowing.
Okay.
I definitely kept some. But yeah, everything I would handle into her. In my Form 1, because in my primary she could go to, get the pieces, remodel them. I take them.
Okay.
When I got to secondary, now I was doing both.
Where were you? Where were you in school at the time?
My primary I was at Macquarie Primary School.
Okay.
And then secondary I was at Old Kampala secondary school. So in my secondary, I was doing both. Now the funny thing, most of the people I went to school with didn't know that I was working. But yeah, that was the life. Now I was doing both. Now I was going to downtown to get the clothes and also sell them.
Okay. When you say remodeling it, I mean, you kind of started out on your own doing secondhand.
Yeah. Here's the thing. People don't know that Owino is also expensive. And with university students, you can't have something that's too expensive.
Yes.
Pieces had to be a certain price. So what she taught me, what we would do, it didn't really matter how big the piece was. If we could work with it and it's cheaper, we would remodel it.
Oh,
You
okay.
get, because now the ones that didn't really have much shape would be cheaper. Now the ones
So you
that
look for the ones that no one wanted.
yes,
and
exactly.
then-
If you know you can remodel it or do something with it, that's what you'd get. And most cases, like I always landed on good designs because I started it young and I had an eye for the weird things, and then they were also always cheaper because I think even these people who were selling them didn't really understand them. So that's what I would get. So I had lots of good clients because they knew I was getting
unique pieces.
unique pieces and all.
Okay, so in secondary school, you said people didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, people. Okay, now here's
Okay,
the
like
thing.
your classmates and other
Yeah, they
schoolmates.
didn't know, and I was missing school a lot. But this is how I packaged it. I learned to bottle in my situations, and I learned the best way. One way is what through lies. I keep telling people I'm such a good liar. I just learned and realized I don't have to lie, but I'm good at lying and I go at the extreme.
That's a lot of self-awareness there.
I am. That's why I
It was a
normally
survival
don't love
skill for
doing
you, huh?
exactly. So I learned it at a young stage, and if I had to survive, I would do it.
Okay.
But then it's not something. When I grew up, I was like, it's not something I should do because I was never proud of all the lying decisions I had to do. So what I did in high school, should I say, branded myself. I was first. I'm not too friendly. I
Okay.
don't know why,
You're
but
quite
I'm not too.
reserved.
Yeah, because come on, I grew up in. We were just three.
But also
So-
you're a bit shy, I think.
Yes,
A little
I am
shy.
too. I am too. So I had to, and then you know how kids are when someone finds out you are shy, and then this is how your background is. People can pick on you.
Okay.
So what I did, I branded myself as a no-nonsense person, a don't care person. I literally, I think, had like one or two friends in school. I was never, I won't say I was rude, but I always didn't care type of person. Not because I didn't care, because
You
I didn't
did,
want
but that's
people
what you
to
wanted
know.
people to think.
Yes. And in most cases, I would miss school and just tell them, yeah, I didn't want to come to school. But I
How
knew.
did that fly with administration, with the teachers and
It's a secondary school, really. You get what I mean? Yeah, you could miss a few days and you say you're sick. You could always come up with some things. So I could miss days because I had to still work during the week. So I had to find ways of making sure there's money, there's fees for both my and my sister. And then now my mom was not really working completely. So I had to get days off school.
okay.
Now I could get days because the best time to get these pieces from downtown was morning,
Yes, early morning.
early morning. So there's no way I was going to go early morning and then go to school. So that means I had to kill a day.
Okay.
So I would kill the day, go get them, then also have to find another day in the week, go work, and then I would add the weekends. So that's how I could miss classes, and then, of course I could make it like in a cool way of like, who comes to school every week or every day? Like, who wants that? So that's how I played it. So not everybody thought like, oh, she's going through this, oh, she's working, or she's what. I had to hide. I had to protect that part of me because I didn't want anybody to make me feel like, oh, she has a lot of baggage going on. So I had to package that.
Did you feel that
Kampala-
school was important? Did you look at it like,
Yeah.
I need an education and
Yeah, because by then I didn't want to do what I was doing. I was ashamed of work. So I thought education would give me a bigger picture of like, now I wouldn't have to do this kind of work.
so you were putting in the
Get
effort.
so yes, I was really putting in. I'm like, okay, I could go get a good job, graduate, and all that. So yes, I loved school. I loved the experience of school as well, because when I went back home, it was just me and my sister, and then the university girls and all that. So I loved school because first I would feel a little bit normal. Of course, I would not let loose fully because there was a part of me I was protecting, but also it felt normal. I
You
felt
felt like
like,
you could be a child there to some degree?
yeah, because I was around people that were my age. Of course, for them, they are coming from different backgrounds. I think Old Kampala is like one of those schools that had all categories. Get the ones that are coming from good families, the ones that don't. Like it was a mixture. It wasn't just like cool school, like oh so and so's kids. No, it was like multiple, which was still good. At least I didn't over feel left out uncomfortable in school. So that's why I really loved it. It could, though of course at the back of my mind I could not let go of myself completely
Yeah.
because I didn't want anybody to use that against me in
Yes.
a
So
way.
you
So
you developed like a shell to
yes,
protect yourself.
yes.
Okay.
And I used to hear so many awful things about me, but I'm like, if they think I'm rude, I'd rather them think I'm rude than saying the broken me, because I honestly think
Or feel sorry for you.
because I think I was a broken child. I grew up in a broken family, and not because my dad left, but he was violent as well towards my mom. And I have a very vivid, I don't remember much of my childhood, but there's specific parts that I remember him for, which is weird because even when I try, I don't have so much of good memories with him apart from the days that he had to beat my mom badly.
That's what you
Otherwise, I
remember
could
the
not tell.
most.
That's what I remember the most. Like it's so clear till now. So I was always used to seeing them fighting. To be honest, it was a mess. So I didn't know my life was just on survival, and on not what I don't want. Because I'm like, I definitely don't want a man like my father. I definitely don't want to be around. And I think he painted a picture. I know they're good people. I know they're good men, but he was the first man that I knew. That was my father, and then he didn't really show me exactly how a good man is.
So do you feel like you didn't trust men because of that?
I don't.
Even now?
Yeah, I'm trying though. I think because I definitely know deep down, like not every man is a bad man, but we still there. We still do it and and all that. So like I think I grew up from
How long were you taking care of your sister and helping pay the rent and helping pay your school fees?
till now.
It never ended.
No, never ended.
Okay.
It's never ended. It's one of those things that every time I wanted to give up, I'm like, okay, let's assume I get a man. Is he going to be able to take care of me, my sister, my mom, everything? Everything's like, no, not really.
Okay.
So, get to work.
Okay.
Um,
So you were in Old Kampala for O levels.
and A level.
And okay, all through.
All through. All the 6 years.
Okay.
Yes, I was there all 6 years.
When you finished?
When I finished, I joined MOOC.
Okay.
Here's the thing, I joined MOOC with zero money. There was definitely no money at all. But I've always been, one of the things that I think I'm glad my mom introduced me to at least was I grew up in church. And for me, I understood it.
Okay.
I understood God, I understood faith, I understood belief. Because to be honest, that's the only thing I had. I wasn't going to be like, oh, I have a rich uncle somewhere, he's going to come, or a rich family member. It was me, and then I was introduced to God. So it was like now my self-blessed. It's like, okay, there is God, and I'm going to believe in him. And I think I'm glad she introduced me to that side at least, because it kept me going.
Okay.
So I learned to dream big because I learned, yeah, if God created me to be here, it wouldn't make sense for him to just create me to go through life the hard way till I die. That wouldn't make him God. I'm like, if he's building a story out of me, then let me go through it and let's get to the good part eventually. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it is God. Even if sometimes it doesn't look like it is, like that is my best friend. At least that is the man that I know can come through.
So
Yeah.
your faith is what has kept you
Yeah.
stable.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Even
how did you get yourself through university?
um I was looking at the courses. I realized the bachelor would be more expensive, so I was like, let me start with a diploma and I could upgrade.
Okay.
Go to course. It was a very nice course actually. It was records and archives management.
Ah,
I think it
okay.
had a lot of things. So our first lab, we have communication, we have, I don't remember most of the stuff, but all I remember, it was like a very practical course
Okay.
of day-to-day things, really, like
So it's come in handy for you.
bookkeeping and meetings. It was like really, I felt like, okay, this would be valuable. It didn't go for, of course, because I managed to attend the lectures till they needed tuition, and there was no tuition. So that chapter was closed.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, now let's face life in its fullness, because now there's no. But I'm glad I went for those few weeks. At least I experienced, because it was a dream of mine. I was working with university.
Students. So I'm
I
sure you were
always
like,
dreamed of
one
like,
day I want
yes,
to.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in a hostel. I always envisioned how my room would look. Had so much faith, despite I didn't know where I was going to come from. And I'm like, yeah, so well, it didn't happen. I actually tore my admission letter, because I'm like, what's the use now of this? Why did I even try? Because I was like, I was mad at God as well. Because I remember when I was going, throughout the university admission process, I'm like, I believe in you. You're going to do something, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to give a speech on my graduation day. It's going to be fun. And when it didn't happen, I was so mad. One, I think I was mad at myself as well, because I felt like I've left myself down. So I was like, okay, the university, but at least I know how the lecture rooms look. And at least I have part of a lot to move with. If somebody asks if you can, because yes, I did because I like management. Good. So you get at least I knew a few things. I'm like, we can move on from here. We can move on from here.
You're still home with your mom at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
So my mom. Here's the thing. I love God. I believe in fellowship, because sometimes also when you isolate yourself way too much, it gets to you. But I think when my mom, because she was, like I told you, she loved fashion and all that, she loved a good life. I could tell. But good life wasn't coming at her. So I think she became desperate. So it was everyday church from morning to evening.
Oh my.
Every day. I remember we would work. During holidays, my sister was home, so at least sometimes we would go work together, especially during the holidays. Holidays were the toughest, because now university kids are off.
Okay.
So now it was just us roaming all over, anyone who can, even if it's 2K for us to have a meal.
And your mom was in church every day?
Now, that
pretty
is
much
the part,
leaving you to take care of yourself.
Church every day, but then she needed transport.
And that was on you?
Yes. So we had to look for transport and also something to eat. And I think she found herself in the wrong churches. It got to her mentally. I think what I didn't forget to say, that as much as I was working as a child, she was also a very hardworking woman, because clearly I think that's where I got the spirit. But then when church came in every day, I lost the woman. Also, I lost also the part of the woman that I knew. She didn't want to work anymore because she said God didn't want her to work, and I think because of these churches she went to, so I lost that part of my mom as well. I was now officially the mom and the sister. So yeah, it
And that explains why you had to let the course go as well, because
yeah,
it was all on you.
yeah. What happened? We were staying because I didn't know she wasn't paying rent, because every time I worked, I gave her the money. She was actually not paying the rent.
She was
She would take it
taking
to
it.
church. So I think the landlord also was like, "You all need to leave." I remember I was telling her, "Okay, this man is determined." That I told everybody, the chairman, everybody knew. We were living at the mercy of this man, and it was just embarrassment all over. I started hating being home, so I would leave early morning, go for work, come back at night. Because now there was no university anymore, it was just now work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the debt was way too big, because now I was going to cover it. So I told my mom, okay, I'm going to work for a fresh start now, and we get another home. I will oversee the things now, because clearly
She wasn't doing it.
she said no. She's like, I believe something big is going to come through for us. I'm like, okay. So I not living. She's like, no. I was like, okay. So the money I had gathered, I left home with nothing. I left with my clothes. Yeah,
And your sister?
I left her behind. I couldn't go with her. I was just starting off with you. I
I
think the only
know.
money I had was I got also used to university setting, so I got apartment that we got was like also like a student setting. So with that it comes with pay semester, and then a semester it could be cheap really. It
Yeah.
wasn't that because it's full. So there's I got a very small room. It even had the bed. Didn't have a mattress though, but at least it was there, and I paid. I remember a semester was like 240.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like 3 months? I'm like, yeah, this can at least take me to organize myself and also mentally, so that I can help out. Because I didn't run away, because I didn't run away because I wanted to now, okay, bye guys. I wanted to get myself in
Bit of
a mindset,
peace.
yes,
Yeah.
where now, and because when you're confused and just seeing all the wrongs going on, people are talking about us. I didn't know what I was doing. That's all I was hearing, people's words. I was saying my mom losing it every day, so I wasn't concentrating. But then I realized money has to come in. I have to concentrate, so I had to leave
Okay.
so that I could make a living, send back home. At least I was going to stay in touch with my sister, and also I got a car, put my clothes. I always had lots of clothes because that's what I was doing. So
Yeah.
got that, left.
Mm-hmm.
I remember she had gone to church because it was so easy for me to leave because she had gone to church. I remember getting a call from her. I think she had called my dad as well, and my dad is saying I've disowned you, and I'm like, dude, you're joking, right?
You haven't been
You've
around.
never done
so-
anything for me, so you're saying you've disowned me? Like, I think you did that long time ago. So I was in phase. He's like, oh, you're going to get married? I'm like, okay, it's fine. Whatever you guys
So that's
think.
what they assumed, that you're going to
Yeah.
be with a man.
And he's like, and my mom was like, I need you to come back. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I think they're convinced I'm going to get married, apparently.
Get married.
So I was like, oh. I left, stayed in touch. I think she also realized that, okay, we had to leave. We also moved.
Okay.
I think I remember when they were moving, I have an uncle that chipped in. I also chipped in something, and they got a house somewhere in Kasubi. So I'm like, okay, at least you've moved, and I knew how much the rent is, and then walking back and forth. When I left, because now I'd left home, I think I was about 20. Life first hit. For some reason, I moved during the period that was super cold, and I had nothing apart from my clothes. And now these are
So you had clothes, but no mattress,
and I didn't have a mattress.
no sheets, no blanket.
I had some sheets. I didn't have a blanket. I had some, I think, like 2 bed sheets, and it was super cold. So what I did, the good thing, like I said, I had lots of clothes. So the clothes are the ones I could put in the mattress, and then the sheets. It was the most uncomfortable bed ever. So I started going out a lot.
Okay.
Because I basically didn't have a bed. But at least I had a place to go to and sit down and gather my thoughts. I started going out a lot, met people. To me, it was part of the process. I guess I had to meet these people, but I think there was
they the
more
wrong people?
harm. They did more harm than good. Okay. Mentally, because now I'm being introduced to alcohol, to this, some few industry people, and I don't think it was
Good
the
for you.
best. Yeah, it wasn't the best thing. But in all this, I was just trying to hide because it was safe enough for me, I think, to go into the crowds than staying home, which was now like my home. I remember that room was so tiny. One of the things I remember about it, it was so tiny. The bed had a small nail. It had a nail,
Okay.
like a bed, but then the side of it had like a canal. And in most cases, every time I passed, it would cut me,
no.
and it would cut me in the same place because it was I always forgot, so it could cut me in the same place every time. It was just like, okay, but that's how small it was. So where I had to pass, it had a
Was
nail.
like a little.
Yes, it was. So every time I had to pass, but then of course I had to learn. It's like, okay, there's a nail there, so I have to either jump in on a bed and do what. But yeah, but in all this, what I also didn't know that it was getting to me mentally. Like I said, in school, I had already branded myself like this person. I don't care and what, and it grew on me. Like that was me.
Tough
I learned to
chick.
be, yes, I learned to believe, but inside was a bleeding person. Bleeding.
Yeah.
I really didn't care how I talked to people because I'm like, I'm not saying like I was rude, but I still didn't care.
So looking back, you feel you were not a nice person at that point.
I don't know how to place it. I just didn't care. You get, I was not like in people's faces or getting fights or getting to anybody. I just didn't care. Like, you want to live my life? Come on. I know somebody who was supposed to have my back leave once, so I don't care. You get what I mean? Like, you can leave.
So like you were doing whatever you wanted.
Yeah. You get, like, I was getting money myself. Because I grew up with literally nothing and I had to work, money does not impress me.
Yeah.
Do I want money? Yes, I do. That's why I'm working really hard. Does money help in a lot of things? Of course you get those things when you have money. Am I impressed with money? No. If I don't want to do something, even if I don't, you put how much on the table?
You're not gonna do it. Okay.
Because if there's not going to be enough money to give me a comfortable life in a snap without me doing anything shady. You get it?
Yeah.
And because I didn't grow up with a lot of happiness, I'm protective of whichever happiness I have. So I'm not going to sell that little happiness of me for money. I mean, I would rather work for it.
And at that age, as young as you were, living by yourself, struggling, the shortcuts are always there. for
Yeah.
young women. So many shortcuts.
Yeah, lots of them. Here's the thing. Like I said, I had this idea about men. So even though shortcuts were not working for me, because
You did not want to know.
yeah,
Okay.
because I'm like, okay, so he gives me money, then he starts controlling me. And then I end up like my mom. Because this man was rude to my mom, beat her up, and still left her with nothing. So what was the point? I didn't see
So you
the
never
reason. Like
wanted
she's
yourself to
settled.
be in
Yes,
that situation.
I never wanted to put myself in this situation. I know, and I saw how it ended.
Now, you said that, when you moved out, you're in your little room, and now no one needs to tell you anything. You can pretty much do whatever you want. You're making your own money,
Yeah.
and you met the wrong people
Here's the thing. I don't want to call them the wrong people, but that's not what I needed.
in your life.
But I also think, looking back, maybe it was also a phase that I had to go through.
It might have been, because if you're saying that your mom was so tough on you and put so much responsibility on you, in a way that was kind of the first time you could just also break
Yes.
free and do what
Yes.
people
Yeah.
your age were doing, right?
Yeah. Yes, but I think I lost touch of why I had left home for a minute. Because it's now partying. And then this partying wasn't helping, because there was something. I didn't go out because I wanted to have fun. I was going out to escape my reality. But trust me, it's never escaping your reality.
When did things change?
So I had this friend that I met, and our lifestyle was that the guys, and then go out. And then I saw how we were living, because I wasn't living with her, but sometimes I would leave home and go spend the night and whatnot. How calling, oh, are you coming? Oh, I'm hungry, we need this. I don't want to be begging no money to you get what I mean? To have a meal.
Yeah.
So through her, I also realized this is not the life I need. Because for me, I knew if I went to work, I'm guaranteed I'm going to get money.
Okay.
Whatever little it is, I was going to get money.
And you could feed yourself.
Yes. I'm seeing her, of course, when it came in, but I'm like, this seems harder than me working, honestly. Because I was guaranteed and 100% sure if I work, I have the money.
Yeah.
She didn't seem like she was sure, because I don't know, maybe some of them were married or what. She didn't seem sure whether that day the man was going to come or not.
Oh, so it was always just hanging in limbo.
Yeah, and for me, I knew if I worked, I'm getting the money. If I don't work, I'm not going to get money. But she was always kept her hopes. I was like, okay, it might come today. Oh, no, let me try another one. Oh, okay, now this other one. It looked like this is not the life I want either.
This is not what you want.
This is not what I want. I remember there's a time I'd gone to work, taxis. But then remember when they used to rob people in taxis, like you do something and they take your phone and what?
Yeah.
It happened to me and they took the phone. So lost all the contacts. So instead of replacing the line, first and foremost, I think that line, because I didn't have a national ID.
At that point?
Yes. No, by then they started national ID things. I don't remember
Was
very
it
well.
just
But
an
what I
ID?
remember, the line was, my dad had given it to me.
Oh.
I don't know how.
So
but
it was hard for you to replace the number.
So I just completely got a new number. So I met a friend there who was also a client, was a customer. Okay, by the way, I'm calling them customers. I shared a room with her.
Okay.
And she had a boyfriend who was really giving her good money. So there was always food in the room. So I was saving on food. I never used to go out anymore, really, not that much. So I was really saving money. I was saving money. So I lived there, and then life could hit in during the holidays again, because I was the only one in the hostel.
Yes. Everyone else had gone home?
Everyone had gone home. Even with the money, I was saving, but I wasn't really saving much.
Okay.
Because I had constantly had to send money back home as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that much. I remember during this specific holiday, because they had holidays that were longer than the usual. Some would be not that long, and then they had one that was, I think that was like the Christmas holiday as
Yeah,
well.
the long.
That one was long. I remember there was this particular one, really, I had nothing. And I could have one meal a day, and that meal was like maybe 1,500 meal.
Yeah.
There was a lady close by the hostel. She could, make some affordable food, and I had to eat it twice a day. Whether I'm full or not, I had to.
So you'd buy that one meal and
Yeah.
only eat half.
Yes. And have to keep something for supper and all. It was, imagine being broke and you're in the place alone and the responsibility. So it was quite tough. I remember that I got sick. There was this one time I really got sick. And the clinic, the nearest, was quite a distance. It's quite a distance. I'm sick, so I'm going to go get some, tablets, but I'm also walking. I'm like, God,
What is this life?
because life wasn't getting better, And the funny thing, people who saw me could not think this was it. I always knew how to dress up on a budget. I was doing clothes. I knew how to get things that are not expensive but looked nice.
But you looked expensive. You look like you were all right.
So exactly. So no one, and I'd learned you can't let people know who you are, because they're going to use that against you.
Okay.
So yeah, we're moving it out. I walked painfully, go back to the room and cried my tears. But then you cry and you get back up, because there's no help coming.
You're on your own.
I'm on my own. So here's the thing, hostel, but then of course when students came back,
Things
work
got better.
work resumes, and then there's more money coming in.
When we started talking, you said that you started with nothing. You
Yeah.
had no help.
Yeah.
You had no auntie, uncle, father investing in you, giving you something. How did you begin?
When I left hostel, I got some house as well.
Yeah.
I had saved enough to get to a house,
Okay.
but the capital was also still a problem, because I knew I had to get like a machine,
Okay.
a sewing machine.
So you were sure that's where you wanted to go?
At that point, yes. I'm like, I just need to start my own thing, because I realized there was market for that. Because sometimes people would ask, I have a wedding, can you try to look for something like this, and you can't really get it.
Okay.
And then realize I could actually make
something.
Yeah, like I could instead make something with such clients. So
did you have any experience tailoring?
No. My mom had a machine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the funny thing is, my little sister, is the one who knew how to use a machine. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
In fact, when I started doing it, my mom was shocked that I was the one who was actually doing, because I think she thought at least it would have been my young sister, not me. So I didn't know, but at least
You had an idea.
Yeah,
You've seen.
I had an idea. Even with cutting, I could see her. Didn't know, but at least, it's like I've seen. I didn't done it before, but I've seen her do it. So I thought it wouldn't be that, but at least I saw something.
So you didn't have a sewing machine?
I didn't have a sewing machine.
How did you get one? Or did you use someone else's?
No. So, church. And one of the things, like till now, I'm so praying to God I need to do something, is people that I feel like have talent but no capital. Because one, I was thinking of getting a loan.
Okay.
But then I had no security.
I was like, how would you get a loan?
So I remember there was a time we were doing some project at church, and they told us, gather capital. It could be through friends or family, like anything. Somebody can give you 10,000 or 5,000, make something out of it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's gather capital. Started with one of my aunties. I'm like, Auntie, even if it's 10,000, anything I need to gather. She's like, we are going through something. I've just taken my kids to school, so I can't tell. I was like, okay. One down, I called the second, it was like the same story. So I told her, okay, can I ask Uncle so? And she's like, no, don't even bother. He's also going through things and is helping so many people. That's when I also closed the chapter with the family. Because I'm like, I was asking, like, I was literally asking, even if it's 5,000, let me gather.
Just give me a little something.
Yes, give me something little. So there was no help there. But the thing is, I always talked about it. Like, every time I was in charge or special small gatherings, I always talked about what I wanted to do. And I remember this one girl, I don't even remember her name. She's like, I'm going to give you that loan without security. Remember, she gave me for 500K. I was like, yes, I will pay it back. I got the machine. I remember it was 350. I got some threads, foil, a stool, transport. There was with this machine. I didn't even know how to use it. And there was YouTube. I didn't have a smartphone. So I could not choose YouTube.
Okay.
It was just the machine, and I had to figure it out. Trust me, my first clothes were a mess. A mess. I remember the first outfit I did, she had to go for blankets and wines.
Okay.
I'm like, I can do this. It was just like almost like a t-shirt top and a long skirt. Full day. I was in one outfit. Full day. And even after a whole day, it was a mess. I remember she could not even wear it because it had so many problems. But at least she paid for the fabric.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, at least.
So that wasn't on you?
Yeah. That was, I'm like, okay, at least she has allowed to pay because it was quite a mess. Looking back at it, I'm like, I don't think I would have paid for that outfit. And that's how the custom making started.
Okay.
With that machine, home. I remember even when I started working with you, I was still working from home. So yeah, could ask, convince people. When I started, I think I got the machine probably in 2016. I could not entirely depend on that because most people didn't know me for that. They knew me for second-hand clothes, getting them pieces if they want to go somewhere.
So you were doing both?
So I was doing both.
Right.
The custom barely. Really, no one was really. It had to take a lot for somebody to take a chance on me.
Yeah.
But in 2017, I was like, whatever comes, this is what I want to do. I'm going to take a chance on it.
Okay.
So in 2017, I stopped completely.
I mean, looking at the designs you have done now, and thinking back to that time, was it ever a point where you wanted to give up?
No, let me tell you.
Or it had to work?
Here's the thing. It had to work. Because what else did I know? I kept thinking, like, every time I wanted to give up, I'm like, but what am I going to do? This is the only thing I know how to do well. So I'm going to do it. Okay. I had these amazing girls I used to dress, and they would literally always have something to go to. So trust me, every week I had something to make.
Oh, yeah?
One day, one of them tells me, what you're giving us is not even worth what we are paying for. In a message. That killed my entire confidence. And I think it was it? Because I almost started like, I think was it 20s? I don't remember the year, but I don't think it was 2017 because 2017 is when.
So So you've been doing it for a while. You were doing the best that you could.
I think it's 2017. Still, when she said that, I remember calling my friend and telling her, I think she's right. This is not it. Because if it was it wouldn't be this hard. Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't have to do this. Maybe she's right, like it's not worth, you know. Kind of gave up for a few days, but a girl needed to eat.
Yeah. And one of the things you also, mentioned when we were chatting earlier was how you as a designer, it's been social media. You have
Yeah.
people who wear your designs, it's on social media, and people on social media are not kind.
Not at all.
I made it to the papers, so I've been there. I've been there where they shoot you down nicely.
Right, I'm not actually even on social media. I don't have a personal account.
But it's work, your work.
It is, but I chose a specific platform to be at. I'm not on Facebook. I've not been on Facebook for years.
So you got away from that.
And I stayed on Instagram. Here's the thing. Me on social media, if I wasn't doing this, I don't think I'd be on social media at
I think
all.
so too, because it's only your work.
But I had to work and I had to put myself out there. So I'm like, at least I need to remain with one platform, at least where I can put my work. And I talked to God about it. I'm like, hey, I don't think it's by mistake I feel like this about life and about social media. So I'm going to do the best I can. And you handle the rest.
Okay.
So social media has taken me through depression. Not even social media. I think people when I was starting, I was already hearing, said someone telling you a message, maybe what you're doing is not worth it, and what people are also saying. I always had people's words get to me.
You took it personally. You took it to heart.
Like I said, when I was young, I feel like I still didn't do enough for my mom. She never appreciated most of the things, so I've always wanted that validation from other people. I think I had. That's why I guess every time somebody has to say something, it really hit me harder than most people would think. So the first place I had to get off is social media, because I'm like, this is not
to protect
helping.
yourself.
Yeah. To protect myself. And I remember in 2017, I got my first nomination. Woof! As first.
Despite all that,
of the fashion designer of the year, I'm like, wow. Okay, before I didn't know whether I was going to be nominated or what. So they do, I think it's called like a release something, where they read out the nominees. Yes. And I was waiting on that. A part of me was saying, maybe yes, I might, maybe not. And I remember it was announced days to my birthday. So I was even telling people I was good. I'd actually passed out invitation already, because I'm like, I have 2 things to celebrate. It's going to be my birthday and my nomination. It happened, and they were reading. People was like, hey, congratulations. And then when it got to me, this person had something to say.
Oh.
It robbed me of all the excitement. I was really battling with depression. This just, because I remember how what she said, or I'm surprised she's nominated. I think she needs to thank her client for this. So I'm like, because I was hearing other nominees being congratulated and
people saying great things about them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got to me, and in her own words, she was shocked I was nominated. And I should thank. Because the way she put it, she made it seem
like it's not
that if it's because I was dressing known people.
That you were
so
nominated.
It was, yes.
Right.
That's how she phrased it.
Okay.
Boom.
Critics always going to be harsh.
It took me in another phase. The funny thing, this is somebody that was in the industry. That, of course, even at one point, I believed it would be nice to dress them. You know, that these are the people
You looked up to.
that are talking about fashion and all that and all that. And then when you're looking at them like, oh, they know that they've been in the industry longer, so maybe she's right. Maybe you should thank the people are not. It's the people you dressed, not what you're doing. Oof. That was a hard one.
I know. But I'm glad you didn't give up. Look at you now.
I cancelled the party I was doing.
You cancelled your
Yeah.
party?
I cancelled. I remember I called people. Yeah, I'm busy. I can't make it. I will be so busy. I don't think I'll be able to make it. It's just I don't want to party anymore. So yeah, there was no party, and there was a whole phase of, I think the entire week, because it was the same birthday week of mine, another phase of depression where people don't really. I'm very big on mental health, because even at your happiest moment, you can be the lowest person.
Yeah.
You can be at the lowest. I don't know how this thing is, but it's that you get like you're not finding the strength, you're not finding motivation, like you're just really sad about life and all. I remember the first time I told a friend of mine, they told me, "Come on, that's some white man's shit."
Yeah.
Despite the fact that that's how I feel,
That's how you felt. Yeah.
it's not a thing, according to somebody else.
Someone else was like, get over it, no big deal.
So I'm like, okay, so this is a pit that I need to dig myself out of, because still, as usual, nobody's coming to save me. But hey, yeah, here we are.
Here we are. We've had some extreme lows, but you've
Yeah.
had some highs.
I have had some highs. Oh my god, yes,
So
yes.
many highs. Tell me, your 3D collection, the first virtual fashion collection by an East African, how did you decide on that? Was it because of COVID and no events? I mean,
Already before COVID hit, I wanted to do something because I'd never showcased before.
okay. You had just done custom designs.
Yes, I'm like, I need to do something. So COVID hit. I'm like, okay, I think I won't have to do it because of the entire situation and all. But then when we were, the country opened up again, I convinced myself it would happen. One thing about me, like when I want something, I never think about something for years to do it.
You just do it.
Like when it comes in hard, I do it. And that's what happened with this fashion case. I didn't have a lot of money saved because we were just out of lockdown and all. But I'm like, I need to do something, and I think I can do it.
Okay. And that was the time we were seeing like other big designers around the world doing virtual.
Doing virtual.
And I was like, oh, then you did yours. Who did you work with for that?
Raphael. Because I remember I was asking someone who can do something like this. Like, okay, I have my sketches ready. Can you do this for me? This is ABC. This is what I want to do. I'd already set up the date. Without nothing. Without anything. I'd already set up the date. I went to Serena. I told them, hey, I'm doing something. And I want you guys to jump on it.
Okay.
I want you guys to give me a venue. I'm like, okay, let's try. It's like, which day? I had to choose a day that was not going to be busy.
Okay.
So that the rooms are free. Because I remember it was a Monday, so I chose a Monday.
Okay.
And it was free. Great. I'm like, okay. The good thing I'd worked with certain clients that, I'd built my connection.
Yes. People who believe
I
in
had,
you.
yes. There's a client I'd worked with, and she worked at some media company.
Okay.
I called in, I asked her if they could cover it. They were like, yeah. They even asked me how many programs, which programs I wanted. There were listings like, oh, these are the programs that, in relation with what you're doing. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take that. Everybody that worked on me on that show literally came in just on board. I wasn't paying. You see, God. I wasn't paying. Everybody jumped on board because they thought it was a great idea. And because now they believed in me. It's like, okay, that's something. And I guess the person who said I should thank my clients, my clients came through because I was not building people that were tagging me and were coming back and were recommending people. So yes, I was building at the end of the day, I guess it worked out.
Your brand, and your work speaks for itself. Your work does speak for itself. How was it received?
Amazing. Well, it did so well than I expected because I was just doing a show, my first show. It was well received. It was featured on so many platforms and papers and magazines. It actually really, I think, also now opened us to like, okay, she is a designer. Yeah. Because I pulled off a show, it's like she is a designer. And I was starting to feel like, okay.
So you felt like some validation.
Yeah, I felt like some validation. And also inspiring my own self to be like, okay, now I can even go bigger.
So is that what gave you the courage to do the ready-wear collection? Okay.
It's also after the lockdown.
Because I know you're wearing one of your pieces. I have one of them. I love it. Yeah.
So yes, I'm like, okay, I realized I'm missing out on some money. I need all the money I can get. So I realized I'm missing out on some money. Because people do wear custom made thing, but it's like for special occasions. It's weddings, it's red carpet, it's birthdays, so I'm like, then how about every day? People still dress up every day. People have small dinners, people go to church, people go to work. I need to do something to capture that as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, everything I do is blindly. I think I just woke up one day, I'm like, I need to do it. I told my friend I need to do this ready to wear. I have a plan already. I just don't have money still. As usual, I always have my plan set up with no good money to facilitate everything.
Yeah.
And it also almost didn't happen as well.
Really?
Because everybody, I was trying to, because I was trying to get some investment, because I wanted to do it way bigger. I wanted it to start way bigger than it is now. And people are like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. But I think fashion is not really something that people are open to invest in. Because they don't really understand how it works.
Okay.
You get? I feel like people are scared to trust me with money because they don't know how the industry works. I know.
Would you say that it has helped a lot with you putting out your work there? No. Or is it mostly your network of people?
Yeah, I think it's the network and then my work. There's so many people till now that can put a face to the brand. And I am very comfortable with that. Because I've always wanted to be known for what I'm capable of doing than what I look like or what I sound like. Or you get like, I've always wanted to be known for what I can put on the table, what I can offer or what I'm good at. Like I just want to share my talent than who I am or what it looked like and everything. So it explains why I've never even felt like I needed to be on social media, like personally.
Oh, good on you. Yeah. Good on you. And when you look back at your journey, my goodness, and how hardworking you are, I have to say that.
Thank you so much.
Very hardworking.
Thank you.
You've talked about mental health and still a lot of, I imagine, anger that you still feel sometimes. Maybe you feel you lost a bit of your childhood. How are you taking care of yourself?
Prayer. Prayer. I'm so aware of myself. I'm aware of my broken self, and I'm aware I need to heal, and I need to work on it. That's one thing I make sure I tell myself.
You're aware
I
of
know,
it.
yeah, I'm aware of where I need to do work, where I
Okay.
need. I pray about it, and I also make sure I'm in the right environment because I don't want to sink anymore.
Okay.
Mental health is not something that you work on 1 week, 2 weeks, and you're oof,
Yeah, it's a
good and
constant
everything.
thing.
Yeah, it's constant. You have to renew your mind every day. You have to believe. You choose to believe in yourself every day. You have to choose to forgive every day, whether you want it or not. Because I realized if you don't forgive, it's you sinking,
Yeah.
and you're letting somebody who hurt you still control you. Because they are still controlling if you're walking around with that anger. So I want to do something about mental health one day, but for now, I want to heal. So I go through the process. One day you do good, another day you're going back at it, but so far so good. I've learned to keep myself out of situations that are not building me. I've learned to understand people who will say sorry, some won't. I've learned to understand people. We come from different backgrounds. The same way I had a backstory and people thought something else is, I feel like that's how most of us move.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to be patient with people and also patient with myself, because now this is like a whole new, every day is like a whole new level and a whole new world and a whole new everything. I'm learning how to forgive my dad, not yet there close, not even close, but maybe he also had some things behind. Maybe he also grew up in a damaged family, because I realized you can only give what you have. You can only give what you know. So I was raised by broken people. That's what they had to offer. That's what they knew. I'm just making sure that stops with me, because I'm now aware. I don't want to carry that brokenness.
That cycle.
Yes,
Continue the
in my
cycle.
relationships and in life in general.
Yeah.
So day by day, pray about it and work on it as well, because prayer only if you're not doing something about it doesn't work. Make sure I'm in the right environment. I've learned to take myself out of situations, no matter how
That are not good for you.
glamorous or famous or whatever. If I feel like if it's going to bring the other heart in me in a way in the long run, I've learned to take myself out of it.
Okay.
So yeah, day by day.
Day by day.
Yeah,
That's how you do the work. It's
that's
day
how I
by
do.
day.
Yeah, day by
Well,
day.
I'm happy to see where you are now. I'm excited about all the big things that are coming and so much more that you're going to do. Thank you
I'm
for joining
excited.
me.
Thank you for having me. This felt like therapy. I think I needed it for real. I feel, to be honest, I feel a lot of, because there's so much I'd never spoken about in my life, and I'm going to be nervous when this airs. But it also feels good that I have literally.
It is your story.
It
It is part of you.
It is. I'm learning to own it and to be
It's
part
amazing.
of it. It is.
I don't know if you take a step back sometimes and look at what you've been able to do. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.